All right, let's get into this final lawsuit because this was an interesting one that I'm excited to read through here together with you. And it's from our friends over at Just the News. The ActBlue small donor donation scam busted in this GOP consultants lawsuit. We have questions about all those very little donos, $10, $15, $25 happening like 3 times a day for certain politicians over the course of many months. Every one of those donos under an FEC threshold so that it's not reported. And then they bundle it up and all those little minor contributions add up to tens of thousands of dollars happening all over the country. And many people are doing it on both sides of the aisle, but we've seen it in droves with Democratic candidates. But the Just the News website is reporting that there's a new lawsuit that has been filed that we will look at. You can see filed in Wisconsin, Waukesha County by Mark J. Block against an unknown. And we'll see what that means and what he's alleging here. But it is a complaint saying that he has been a victim of this scam. They used his identity to make these donos. And so the guy's name is Mark Block, all right? He's been a consulting Republican for years. And he discovered an old email account that he used for the 2012 Herman Cain presidential campaign. You remember him? Was he the 999 guy? Was receiving receipts for donations to Democratic candidates like Kamala Harris. What? So his old email that he was making donos to or using for Herman Cain now is getting dono receipts for Kamala Harris. He goes, what? I haven't even used that. How the hell did that happen? The discovery led Block, who's a stalwart Republican, and his lawyers on a journey that escalated on Monday evening when he filed a groundbreaking lawsuit in Wisconsin under civil racketeering laws, alleging that he's a victim of identity theft and a conspiracy to abuse the massive ActBlue fundraising campaign. It's designed to benefit Democrats with small donations under $200 that evade FEC commission reporting requirements. The litigation, which called the misuse of his personally identifiable information, aka PII, smurfing, mirrors allegations that the House committee uncovered during a recent computer analysis that identified tens of thousands of suspicious donos being placed through ActBlue that appear to come from people that don't have the means to give large amounts of money. The chairman, Brian Steele, referred the matter to the AG in 5 states. The investigation is now expanded to 19 states, which might be one of the largest fundraising controversies in modern American history. And so he filed this lawsuit, and let's see what it says. He writes, all right, we're suing for violations under the law, and says, here's the story. Political campaigns prize the support they receive from small dollar donos. They brag about it, right? Look how many small dollar donos we got. More than just functioning as a source of funding, a high volume of individual donos suggests a valuable, vast network of people who are going to put their money where their ballot, where their money is, and vote for candidates that they actually supported in the upcoming election, right? They say, look, if I have 20 million people who give me $5, that means they're probably going to vote for me. So that's a good thing. For example, within a day of Kamala taking over Biden's campaign, she got $81 million from 888,000 grassroots donors. This total quickly swelled to more than $310 million by the end of the month. Now, her spokesman came out and said these donations represent exactly the kind of grassroots energy and enthusiasm that wins elections, right? Unfortunately, at least some of those donations and similar donations to campaigns and organizations across the country have been fraudulently made. Starting in May of this year, Mr. Block, the plaintiff, his personally identifying information has been fraudulently used to make over 300 donations worth $884 to 62 campaigns and political organizations, and 35 of those donos went to Kamala Harris. While these fraudulent donations average out to a very small $3.24 per transactions, they conveniently fit into the loophole created by the FEC. Specifically, federal law doesn't require campaigns to itemize contributions from donors when the aggregate amount totals less than $200. Campaigns that receive contributions below $200 can simply bundle the donation into a list of unitemized contributions. Small dollar donations have seen explosive growth, with the number of reported transactions increasing by 400% just between 2016 and 2020 alone, right? So they got the grift figured out. So I guess if it is a contribution, I'm wondering if they bundle the contributions. Can you give like $50,000 in $200 increments? Can you give $50,000 if you do it $199 each time, kind of a thing? Or is it $200 total? Then they have to start reporting it, even if it is in aggregate. So let's see if we get some details. Now, bad actors can influence elections by laundering their smurfing activities, which are making contributions via the personal identifying information of a number of donors or smurfs through these anonymous bulk reports. Since FEC data on small dollar donors is organized by donor rather than by campaign, someone would first have to know or suspect who a smurf is. Got it. So it doesn't report to the candidate. It's not named to them. So you have to go back. The candidate doesn't say, it's not aggregated and identified from their end. You'd have to go to the person and see what they specifically donated to. And then you'd say, oh, they donated to Kamala. Might be before a record search would reveal a pattern of structured fraudulent donations. Unless, of course, that bad actor was like the John Doe in this case and made the critical mistake of using my info to launder fraudulent campaign contributions, right? So he's saying, you could get away with this because nobody would even know unless you use theirs, which you did, which was mine. So my name is Mark Block. I live in Wisconsin. Defendant is John Doe, unknown defendant. We don't know who this person is, but we're going to go find him and then replace the name John Doe with this defendant. But we need the court to grant us subpoena power and other permission to go file letters and subpoenas against the companies that we think are behind this John Doe. So venue is proper here. Here are the factual allegations. They say, Mark Block, the plaintiff, is a longtime Republican and political strategist. He served as the COS, the chief of staff to Herman Cain in 2012, before Herman Cain became a Republican nominee for president. He occasionally used the email address called cain@gmail.com, right? Cain, chief of staff at Gmail. Because political campaigns often share or sell their email list to track how this information was circulated, I would sometimes utilize the pseudonym Bernie Cain and the COS email together, aka Cain information, when signing up for these newsletters, right? So he'd use like a name so he'd know where they came from. Hey, Bernie. Hey, Bernie. And say, oh, okay. So that came from there because I know I sign up using the Bernie name. For example, if after signing up for emails from campaign X using the Cain information, if campaign Y starting sending emails to Bernie Cain, plaintiff would know those two campaigns were sharing data, right? After 2012, the email was largely dormant. But however, in May of 2024, an entity called ActBlue started sending receipts to the email out of nowhere. These receipts stated that political donations had been made in the name of Bernie Cain that were referenced in the email. So super old emails, right? They're just like, oh, they're gone and dead probably. Plaintiff did not make or authorize any of these donations, nor did he consent to use of our information to process these donations. ActBlue is a Massachusetts-based limited company, hosts website, and serves as a central hub for candidates, all aligned with the Democrats. When donating to ActBlue, users confirm they're providing accurate information, including their real names and other things. They must also state the contribution is made from their own money. Once a dono is made via ActBlue, a receipt is provided. Between May 13th and October 7th, 2024, 385 donations were made using my info. The ActBlue donos were made to 62 political campaigns, and we've got a spreadsheet of them. The typical donation was from $1 to $5, with only 4 that were over $10. Of these donos, 86 were one-time donos, 234 were recurring, and 65 recur on a monthly. So 234 recurring on a weekly basis, And where did the money even come from? All ActBlue donations, so they're made in his name, but the money is coming from an American Express card ending 4005, expires July 2026, tracks to Santa Monica, California. The donations list the donor's address as a U.S. UPS mailbox located in Santa Monica. Mark, the plaintiff, says, I'm not connected in any way with the Amex card. I've never authorized it to make donations through Kane information to any political entity, not much less ActBlue. I'm not connected in any way with UPS or the Amex card. Now, upon investigation, we discovered that the UPS location was using a mailing address for a, quote, Kane Company's construction. What? Kane Co., like for Herman Cain, was administratively dissolved by the California Secretary of State in 2013. California records listed the principal of Kane Co. as Bernard L. Cain Jr., which presumably is a fake name. Plaintiff neither knows nor has any connection with either Kane Co. or Bernard L. Cain. So corrupt. Upon learning of the nexus between the UPS location and the fraudulent donations using Kane info, plaintiff has made multiple efforts to contact Bernard L. Cain Jr. to see if he exists. Plaintiff sent a package to UPS that was delivered on September 12th. So he's like, let me see who owns this. Well, let me go find Bernard. He sent and delivered packages to two residences believed to be associated with Bernard L. Cain Jr. So maybe there is a guy named Bernard L. Cain Jr. He sends one to Colorado that was delivered in September, and he sends one to California, where an attempted delivery revealed that Bernard L. Cain Jr. doesn't even live there, no longer resided there. Additionally, on September 19th, plaintiff sent an email to two addresses that he thought might be Bernard L. Cain. In all of these messages, plaintiff informed Bernard L. Cain Jr. of unauthorized access and use of my information and requested him to contact my lawyer to discuss these. In what can only be interpreted as a lack of any connection between Bernard L. Cain Jr. and these fraudulent donations as of this filing, plaintiff has received no response to any of these multiple overtures. Furthermore, since the delivery of these messages, the fraudulent donations have continued. Specifically, another 151 donations have been made since September 12th of this year, the date of the first delivery to UPS, totaling $303. If the parties connected to the UPS location, Kane Co. or the Kane residences were involved in either the mistaken or fraudulent use of my info, then at the very least, it's reasonable to assume these donations would have ceased, even if they declined the invitation to discuss this activity. So he's saying, look, I know you're making these donations, but you're using my name. So stop using my name. And they just keep using the names. So he's saying, presumably, it's not them, right? They're not the right people. While fraudulently making so many dollar donations may seem like a needless waste of time, political campaigns, including Kamala's campaign, often highlight this. Now, as for the defendant John Doe's purposes, whoever's doing this, fraudulent small donor donations exploit a loophole in the FEC. Under federal law, a campaign is not required to itemize a donor's info if the total contribution is less than $200. Now, because those donations were structured to fly under this reporting requirement, none of the ActBlue campaigns have reported receiving contributions from Bernie Cain. And me, plaintiff, has never used the Kane information to make political donations or to obfuscate federal reporting. I did not make or authorize or consent to any of these donations. And these unlawful acts could expose me to criminal investigation for making contributions under a false name. Now, I've expended numerous hours working with lawyers to prepare a filing with the FEC detailing this fraudulent activity and ensuring that me would face no exposure for any improper donations because you're exploiting it's identity theft. We've never used this information in connection with any credit card, never authorized this for political donations, does not know the John Doe defendant who actually made these contributions, and never gave consent for any of this. And given the fact that I'm a Republican, I would never even consider or consent to donating to any ActBlue campaigns or those communists. And so he's filing a claim saying these are felonies to fraudulently use my info John Doe's 385 ActBlue campaign donos violated Wisconsin identity theft statutes. They utilized my information to make these fake donos and violated this provision as well. There's also U.S. code. It's illegal to use another person's name to make donos. And now I'm forced to stop future identity theft. And so I'm filing claims here. They also violated other Wisconsin laws like the Organized Control Crime Act. It's racketeering. There's a whole organization here doing this. There's at least 3 incidents of this are required to establish a pattern of racketeering. Obviously, we've got that now. There's an enterprise underway, and you add it all up, and there's a crime, or there's something that needs to be done. Fraudulent donos, all associated with ActBlue. Plaintiff here has been injured, and this is fraud. So, saying you should find in favor of us, signed here by this attorney, Eric McLeod, and naming John Doe as the recipient, not even specifically ActBlue yet. So filing the summons to open the case so that he can then use court process to investigate this even further. But Just the News reviewed some of the emails. Here are some of the receipts in those emails. You can see here's what he got in his inbox. Thank you for your contribution. Imagine if you get this delivered to your inbox. You wake up one morning. Hey, can't wait to go watch the morning Membo stream, watching the Watcher. It's going to be amazing. Let me check my email. Thank you for your contribution to Equality PAC. What? Here's a receipt for your $750 donation. Create an ActBlue Express account to view your contribution history. Thank you. Together, we're changing our country. No, we're not together at all. It's just you. Your total contribution sent to your email. Keep the momentum going, Bernie. You're amazing. This guy's name is not Bernie. It's Mark. This transaction will appear on this Amex, this credit card. Billing zip code is 904403. You guys, no idea where it came from, but they're going to do a $750 contribution. And they do this at scale. Okay, so they do this times like 1,000. So it's $750 all over the place. And then it's another one under his name for $450. It's super small, but it's huge numbers. So think of like millions of these transactions. Millions times $450, $750, $150, $350, so on. It adds up big time. So it's like a bot operation. It sounds like they might even be setting up shell companies and stuff and then making contributions on the back of those. So absolutely shocking and not unexpected. We know that there have been a lot of stories about this. And now what happened is they sent one to the wrong dude, the wrong guy. And so shout out to Mark Block. We'll keep our eye on this story and see where it goes. All right, let's see what you say about this, my friends. It is a beautiful and an amazing Taco Tuesday. Let's see who's joining us in the house. Let's pop out our YouTube friends and see what you guys say about all of this and more. That ActBlue one was good. I'm glad that is happening. That was a lot of fun. So we'll see what the courts do with that. But I'm sure that it is going to continue. The FEC is not going to look into it too favorably. I can't even imagine. We know. Yeah, we know about this. It serves our purposes perfectly. So not a surprise.